welcome back to another video. This one is a little bit different to my usual ones, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. A while ago, Canon emailed me asking if I was interested in testing out a new printer, and of course I jumped at the opportunity because who wouldn't want a fancy new printer, and I've been wanting to get one for a while. As of a few days ago, I moved back from uni. I finished uni and I relied on the printers there a lot, so I was worried that after leaving uni I would be a printerless girl and yeah, I'd really become accustomed to just being able to print stuff off really easily at uni, so this couldn't have come at a better time. So yeah, they sent me a Canon PIXMA Pro-200 is what the printer's called. It's a professional photo printer. They also sent me a big box filled with loads of different paper types, which I also test out in this video. So hopefully you find it entertaining, and maybe some of you are on the hunt for a new printer and this video will be helpful. So yeah, I test out printing a bunch of my art, and I also make magnets, which is really fun. So you've just seen me unboxing all the papers that they sent me, which I'll test out a little bit later on in the video. And then this is a little bit of an unboxing and setting up of the printer, although it was kind of hard to film because yeah, I've never set up a printer before, so I was just wanted to do it without like the camera filming it all. But actually it was really easy to set up. There's like a little screen on it which like directs you through the entire thing. Like I even had I got a video up thinking I'd have to watch a video to help me set it up, but I ended up like not even watching the video at all because it was just so clear what to do from the little screen. So setting it up is really simple, and that's coming from someone who has never set up a printer before. The printer itself, I'll just tell you a little bit about it. It prints A3 plus, so this thing prints big, which was one of the things I was most excited about because eventually I'd like to sell maybe A3 prints in my shop, so having this printer opens up a whole world of opportunities. It uses 8 colours in the printer. It's dye-based ink, which is really good at reproducing colour. So because it has 8 colours in the printer, because most I mean, I'm no printer expert, but not a lot of printers come with 8 colours in them, so it gets you a much wider array of colours, and it's a lot more accurate because it has the 8 inks inside and has a lot of tonal range, gets really dark darks, a lot of contrast, really bright colours, and I've done a lot of test prints at this point and I couldn't be more impressed with the quality of it. It has multiple feeds, so it has the main feed at the top which can do lots of paper at a time, and then it has a feed at the back which is more for like specialized paper for putting in like one sheet at a time. It's really good at printing matte. Like often when you print matte the colors come out a little duller just because that's what happens on like matte paper, but with this, when you print on matte, the colours stay just as like vibrant and sharp. I filmed quite a few clips of me testing this printer out for the first time and getting my initial reactions of it all, so I'll show you all that now, and then I'll come back at the end of the video to talk to you more about my opinions and also talking about the different papers that I tried out. So I'll speak to you soon. Okay, so I've done my first proper official print with some nice paper, and let me tell you, I honestly couldn't be more impressed. This is a print that I sell on my Etsy shop, although it's been out of stock for quite a while, but I could just print a few of these off now and like these are ready to sell. If I'm gonna say it could be nicer than the prints I get made. Like it's so crisp and the colours are like perfect. Although it's a little bit off-centered, I will have to fix that. And there's for some reason a tiny little dot there, which isn't on the file. So yeah, I'm going to print it again, a little bit more centered. For this one, I used the Premium Fine Art Smooth paper. It's got a little bit of texture to it, like the tiniest bit. It's probably not going to come up on camera. Really happy with that. The colours are popping. Like I didn't even have to adjust anything on the Photoshop file either, because I was worried like I'd have to print it out maybe like a few different times until the colours were exactly how I wanted them to be. But like I don't think it could be any more identical. My eyes looking at it now, that is identical to this. So I'm going to print off a few more centered, and I think I'm going to put it back in stock on my Etsy shop because yeah, with this printer I can just, if I run out of a print, like I can just restock it. Like nothing will ever be out of stock, I suppose. There you go. I don't know how long that took. I'll do a timer and pop it up and tell you how long that actually took. But there you go. Oh yeah, that's much more in the centre than that one. Okay, I'm back again with this print because I've made a mistake and I think it's worth noting. I mean, maybe this is really obvious to some people, but to me it wasn't. I was doing the same print again and it came out like a lot fuzzier and not as much contrast, and just, yeah, the quality wasn't as good. And I was like, why has that happened? Because nothing has changed. And it's because I printed on the wrong side of the paper. Like, I didn't realise there was a slightly different feel to the sides. Okay, so I'm going to give you a little bit of an update of everything that I've been printing. I've done 2 of these guys. I'm still just using the same paper actually. I haven't switched to any other paper just because I really like this. I've done 2 of these A4, and what's exciting about this is I've never seen these A4 before. I always do this A5. Now I kind of can print anything, any size I want. So, oh, actually I did 3 of them, so they turned out really nice. And then I tried out I call this Tetris collage. Because everything's slotted into each other. This one took a few attempts to get the colours exactly how I wanted it. Like, if you see the first attempt compared to the last attempt I did. Although, you know, it's just not going to show up on camera because the differences are so subtle and small. But it's like differences that only I would notice. Printed off a few of these boat ones as well, so they can be updated in the shop. And this one's really rogue. This is a painting I did a while ago. I thought this would be a really good test for like the darks, and because this piece has a lot of contrast, and I know especially printers can struggle with the darks, where the darks is where the lines are most likely to show up, where you can see the stripes of the printer as it, you know, adds the colour. But yeah, there's no lines anywhere. I really like this painting, but because it is so niche, I've never done a print of it, because it's like, realistically, how many people want a painting of like an evil frog? Not many, I suppose. It's a very niche painting. What better way to add this into my shop than to make the prints for it myself? Because that way I only print what sells, and because it is a print which I imagine won't be that popular, I can just print it as of and when it sells, if it does sell. And it's nice that I can actually make prints of it without the pressure of thinking, oh no, is it going to sell? It honestly looks like the real painting. If someone gave this to me and said, this is a real painting, I would think, oh yeah, of course it is. It looks like an original. This is the original piece, but it's not. I did look online at how much this paper actually costs, and for a pack of 25, you're looking at around £40. Oh, which is quite pricey, I think, for 25 sheets of paper, but it's like quality paper. So that just gives you a bit of context as like the price of it all. I was doing a little bit of research into this paper just because I was interested. It turns out it's 100% cotton. Most paper's made out of this stuff called cellulose, which I did not know, but now I know. Basically, cotton's just a lot better. It's more durable and it doesn't yellow or discolour over time. So although it might be on the pricier end of paper, I think you're definitely like getting your money's worth with the quality. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Hello, I'm doing a bit of a screen record now because I want to show you this software which you can download from the Canon website. I'll put a link to it in the description. It's called Professional Print and Layout, and it's free. It's just very useful when printing, although I was being a bit of an idiot because when I first tried to download it, it didn't work, and it's because I was downloading the wrong thing. Anyway, I finally downloaded it now, but I've kind of already printed out everything and filmed it all, so I'm just going to show you it now. So as you saw, I could just drag in a picture like that, and then you just have all the options on the side here. You can easily just change out the size of the paper, change the size of the image on the paper, and there's all the options here. You can easily have a border or no border. What I think is the most helpful thing is this soft proofing button here, which basically shows you a preview of what the actual print will look like. So if I turn it off, that's what the piece of art looks like on my computer screen, like the digital version. And then when I press this, it gives me an idea of how it will look when it's been printed, depending on what paper I've selected on the side. And then I can use the colour settings here and just quickly adjust the picture so it looks exactly like how I want it to look before I print. So that's a really useful tool, because a lot of the time when I'm printing, especially at uni, I can go through a lot of print credit, just printing off things like 10 times until I get it exactly how I want it to look. With this, it shows you exactly how it will look. So yeah, it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. You can add multiple images. Say if you wanted to print you know, a few different pictures on like one sheet of paper, you can easily just lay it out on here. You can also like have the option to have crop marks, which can be helpful. Where's the crop mark button? Oh, there you go, show crop marks. You can get rid of the crop marks or show the crop marks depending on what you're wanting it to do. So yeah, just thought I'd quickly show you this tool here. It's a professional print and layout. Yeah, it's really handy. Here I am testing out the magnet paper that they sent me. I was really excited about the magnet paper because if you know me, you know I really like magnets. I wanted to print off some of my insects and a few other bits and bobs. I ended up printing out some magnets of my teddies, which turned out really cute. So you have to set it up on the printer and let it know what you're going to print. So I set it up as glossy because magnet paper is really glossy, and then you tell it what size you'll be printing. So that's all like really simple to set up, and then you obviously have to tell your computer what size you're printing at, and then that's pretty much it. So it's really easy to like change between papers. Yeah, just press a few buttons on the printer and you've changed the paper settings. The magnets turned out like really cute. Like obviously the print quality as well is like amazing, even on like the tiniest things like the brown bear you see me cutting out now. Like a real little strand of fur you can see even at like such a small scale like that. So yeah, very impressed. So I finished my magnets. I'm really happy with how they've turned out. They're really easy to cut out as well, because they're so thin. It's kind of just like cutting out thick card. They're not the stickiest of magnets, like you couldn't use it to hold up like any paper I suppose, but like they do stick, and yeah, they're more just like decorative things anyway, aren't they? So I've done quite a lot of insects because I want to do them like flying up my whiteboard. Oh, I also did a giraffe because I am obsessed with this giraffe and I think I'll forever be obsessed with this giraffe. I sell this as a sticker in my shop, but I thought it'd look cute as a magnet. I think the highlights of this bunch are these guys. Of course I had to do a magnet of Splodge. Splodge is my teddy. He has featured a lot in my videos, and this is his friend Bertie, and I'm obsessed with them. So I'm going to talk through everything that I've printed, and as you can see, I've printed a very chunky wad of paper there. I was just very excited to be printing things, to be honest. Anyway, so I'm going to do you some lovely little close-ups of all the prints so you can see the quality of it. So for this one I used the double-sided matte paper. This is a pretty big print. It's kind of like if A3 had its top chopped off, so it was a square. That's the size of this paper. I've never seen this piece of art this big, because I sell this as a print in my shop, but I sell it tiny. But this one is huge and I really love the way it looks. I don't know what to really say about the papers because I think they're all really good. The differences are so subtle as well, like it's not really going to show up on camera. This one is a little bit different. This is just a photograph of me and my boyfriend. I printed it like out a photograph instead of some art because this is like that really glossy paper that's kind of more for photos, so I thought it'd be more appropriate. Although the picture isn't the best quality, so it's a little bit grainy, but that's the picture's fault and not the paper's fault. But yeah, again, I feel like for all of these I'm just going to say the same thing. It's good paper. For these ones I used the Photo Paper Pro Premium Matte, and like I can't really tell much difference between the Photo Paper Pro Premium Matte and the double-sided matte. Or maybe the double-sided matte you can print on both sides and it's the same, because some of the paper is like you can only print on one side, and I made that mistake a couple of times like I've already mentioned. Like one side you can only print on, but I guess if it's double-sided, both sides are good to print on. That would make sense, obviously. The paper I used a lot for like a lot of these prints was the Premium Fine Art Smooth, and I'd say this is the nicest paper out of all of them. It's much thicker being like 310, I think 310 GSM. It's much thicker, and it also has like a texture to it. It almost feels like watercolor paper, like it feels and looks like watercolor paper. I don't know if the texture is really showing up on the camera, but in real life it has like a texture to it, and it's a little bit cream as well, which I think is nice. I like a lovely tiny bit creamish paper. Like, it's white, but it's just got the slightest tinge of cream, so it's much warmer. I also printed out some A3 prints. Really love the way this one looks. The Bug Hotel thing I made looks really good in this print. It's so clear, there's not a single thing I would change about it. It looks better than I printed it at uni. Really happy with how this print turned out. I'm going to frame this one actually because I love it so much. I used the premium matte paper, I think, A3 premium matte paper. I also printed out this insect piece I did in a gouache, like a gouache painting I did. To summarise this whole thing, they all turned out great. There was a few times where I printed something out and it was a little bit dark, so for a lot of the prints what I ended up doing was just making the file brighter, and then it printed out perfectly. Like, well, some of them I didn't have to change at all, like the file, but there were a few instances where I had to edit the picture to be a little bit brighter before I printed it, so that the print turned out exactly how I wanted it to be. But here's a quick overview of everything that I printed. I'm really excited for what this can do for my shop and the freedom it will give me in my shop to, like, say if I make a piece of art within the same day, I can have it up on my shop and ready to sell. Like, there's no longer like waiting for things to be, you know, produced and outsourcing, and also I can make the print look exactly how I want it to look because I can adjust it all myself. So I couldn't be happy with this printer. I hope this video has been enjoyable to watch and maybe helpful if you're also on the hunt for a new printer. I couldn't recommend this enough. I'll put a link in the description to this printer. Yeah, thanks again to Canon for sending it to me, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.